The gallery was sealed off. The place looked empty. Laine wasn't exactly easy to miss, and it looked like he wasn't around. The door led into the gallery. The door was locked and sealed off with police tape. I needed to find Laine, and I was sure he wasn't in there. The gallery was empty. It looked like Laine was somewhere else.
Seize the day, boys.
The waiter stared passively into the distance. I felt slightly uncomfortable. Hi.
Monsieur?
Do you recognize the woman in this photo?
She was here the other night with Laine. They sneaked away to the gallery together, without paying their bill.
My suspicions of Laine were mounting, but I didn't really think he had it in him. I'm looking for Mr. Laine. Has he been here?
Ah, yes, monsieur. He came by earlier. Told me he was off to console Henri's widow. I hope she's out.
Hi.
Monsieur?
I guess he didn't want the clippers. I thought better of spraying the waiter again. What can you tell me about Vera Security?
I've never heard of her.
I found this piece of wire.
That is remarkable. You just found something like that? Who would discard something as useful as a piece of wire?
I had a feeling the waiter was being sarcastic. What do you think of these matches?
I prefer a lighter.
You want a cookie?
You misunderstand the concept of the café, monsieur.
Look what I've got.
Monsieur, please. If the health inspector sees that, I'll be closed down.
You sure it was Laine you saw here last night?
Absolument.
Are you sure Laine's gone to visit Henri's widow?
Yes, that's what he told me.
So Laine was consoling the widow. What a big heart that guy had. Did he have a grand scheme or just loose morals? The Bois de Boulogne was just across the road. Tony's Brasserie. Looked expensive. Parisian spring fashion. Reminds me why I love this city. I recognized the name Sasha from the charges listed in Henri's credit card letter. Paris sure had a lot of similar-looking cafes. The door to Henri's apartment. The door was locked. So this was Henri's place. Very smart.
Hello?
This is George Stobart. May I come up?
I'm sorry, this is a very inconvenient time. Come back later.
I know that's you, Mr. Laine. I need to talk to you. I need to talk to Madame Dubois.
I'm sure it can wait.
Mr. Laine, does the name Annette mean anything to you?
I have no idea what you're talking about.
If you don't let me in, I'll tell the police about your interesting connection to the security company.
All right then. Come up, but make it brief.
Dear Lord, George, you have the worst timing.
Is this a bad time to accuse you of lying?
What do you want?
I've just come from Vera Security.
So?
What do you know about the owner of Vera Security?
I've never had the pleasure.
Tell me about Annette.
Who?
From Vera Security.
I don't know any Annette.
Do you want your nail clippers back?
Please. Personal hygiene is very important to me.
On second thoughts, I better keep them as evidence.
Ugh, keep that noxious potion away from me. Don't give me that. Don't give me that.
Rich tea cookie?
But it's broken in half.
Yeah, so only half the calories.
Very droll, Stobart.
Now here's someone you'll get along with, Laine. Trevor, meet Laine. Laine, Trevor.
Why on earth do you have a cockroach in a matchbox?
So he can see the world and help me in times of need.
You have a vivid imagination, Stobart. One day perhaps your other mental faculties will catch on.
Do you know this company?
Yes. Henri hired them to do the security setup.
Is that all?
Yes. What do you mean?
I'm surprised you let your conquests keep souvenirs.
Where did you get that?
Annette lent it to me.
Quit waving it around, for God's sake.
Come on, Laine. Tell me about Annette.
All right, all right. I had a fling with her, okay? Now keep your voice down, please.
And you two fixed the security for the robbery?
No, nothing like that. Anyway, the fling was a mistake. She turned out to be rather needy.
I believe you. You're not a criminal, just a lecherous old man.
Less of the old, if you don't mind. As it happens, I make a lot of women happy.
Especially when you leave them. Can you tell me anything about the owner of Vera?
Annette told me he's some angry-looking Russian chap.
Okay, Laine. Take off.
You can't tell me what to do.
You want me to show Bijou this picture?
All right, I'm going. You haven't heard the last of me, Stobart.
Promise?
And give me that photo.
If Laine was telling the truth, that meant that Annette was lying. She said she'd never met the owner and was very keen to get rid of me. I wondered if she was hiding something interesting in that back office.
Are you going to introduce yourself properly?
Pleased to make your acquaintance, madame. My name's George Stobart.
Call me Bijou.
Bijou didn't look too distressed.
Hello, young man. Such a delight to have a new visitor. What can I do for you?
I'm from the insurance company. I'm so sorry for your loss.
Henri, my poor sauvage. He died in his prime.
Could I just ask you a few questions?
Well, why not? A little company might just pep me up, as you Americans might say.
Henri was very brave at the gallery. He tried to stop the thief and paid the ultimate price.
Henri was my Laine and my little pussycat.
How are you coping?
I'm still trying to take it in, chérie.
Can you tell me about the gallery? Was the business doing well?
The gallery was Henri's baby. He never spoke to me about it.
So you weren't involved?
Not at all. Business is not my thing.
Your record player seems to be stuck on the same song.
Yes, this song gives me great comfort. It reminds me of Henri.
Bijou, I think someone involved with the gallery helped the thief. It wasn't Hector Laine. He's not devious enough.
But who else?
I don't know. But I will get to the bottom of it, I promise you.
Why do you show that to me?
Does this smell good to you?
It's heavenly, isn't it? Henri loved it. So? That's lovely, dear.
Rich tea?
Why is it broken?
I was feeding it to a cockroach.
I think perhaps I'll pass.
Hey, this might cheer you up. Say hello to Trevor.
A cockroach?
I prefer the word pal.
And I prefer the word pest. Please never show it to me again.
Do you know this company, Vera Security?
No, I don't. I've never heard of them.
Thank you for your help, Bijou.
My pleasure, young man. Do come back any time.
Bijou appeared to know nothing. I still couldn't discount Laine. Annette, on the other hand, had lied about Vera Security's owner. Henri was now dressed in a cheap suit. On balance, I prefer the waistcoat. A small, stuffed dog sat on the table. Poor creature. Was that a tear in its glassy eye? The stereo was playing the same tune over and over again. You have a beautiful home, Bijou.
Oh, thank you. I do like beautiful things.
Two lovers entwined. Reminded me of that party game with the mat. The artist was entering his cubist phase. A subtle birthmark was the only blemish on the model's flawless skin. The subject looked vulnerable as she clasped her knees. The subject stared casually out at the world. I've always loved antique music boxes. I wondered what it would play.
Please don't touch my things.
The cluttered dressing table was covered with mysterious things.
Chérie, please don't touch my table. I keep everything in perfect order.
The view through to the Bois de Boulogne was stunning. America is my country, and Paris is my hometown. Views like that one come at a price. I suddenly realized that all the nudes were Bijou, but painted by several different artists. Bijou looked foxy and controlling. Bijou looked melancholy and aloof. I looked closely. A distinct birthmark could just be seen on Bijou's behind. Bijou looked young and distinctly cubist. It was Bijou with an unknown man. She was clearly an enthusiastic sitter. Can I ask you a few questions?
Truth or dare?
Truth.
And there was I hoping you'd say dare.
What's the story behind the stuffed dog?
Oh, Fifi. I was heartbroken when she went. I had her preserved so that we could be together forever.
That's very touching.
Isn't it?
Is that a painting of you?
Yes, darling. Though obviously he got my hips completely wrong.
Who painted it?
Oh, some acquaintance of Henri's. I don't recall his name.
Quite unusual these days to bring the coffin home.
Henri loved a good wake. Said they were better than any party.
Huh. Henri looks very peaceful.
Doesn't he? I wish I could keep him here forever.
Like Fifi? Well, not quite like Fifi, obviously. He was taken before his time.
He had so much more to give.
Anything else you can tell me about the gallery?
No, I rarely went there. As I said, Henri took care of everything.
What's the song called?
Jasmine, by the Hairy Lobsters. Before your time, I'm sure. It's a band that Henri fronted in the 70s. They got to #2 in the Swedish charts.
Big time, huh? Thank you for your help, Bijou.
My pleasure, young man. Do come back any time.
I found Laine over at Henri's apartment. That guy is so sleazy.
We need to find out how this works with Vera Security.
Yep, I'm on it. I think I'll find some answers in their back office. If I can get in there.
Well, let me know if you manage.
I have nothing new to tell, Nico. Night was falling. Annette would have left for the evening. It was time to pay a visit to Vera Security. The empty mall was lit by bright moonlight, the perfect ambiance for a little detective work. I wanted a good look at that back office. I just had to find a way in. Vera Security, a name which was becoming increasingly familiar. It looked like a very sturdy shutter. I'd have to operate the controls to open it. There was no way I could force the shutter open with my bare hands. I needed to find another way. I wondered if the electrical box contained the power unit for the shutters. There was an electrical box up there, but I couldn't reach it from the ground. The cast iron girder spanned the alleyway. I knew that if I could get to the girder, I could reach the electrical box. The girder was too high for me to reach. All Bassam's stuff was safely locked away. The empty box had been left out overnight, and no one would have wanted to steal it. To get any further, I'd need to remove the lid. I popped the lid open. Inside was an aircon unit and, bingo, the master controls for the shutters. The aircon blade was exposed. It was the motor that operated the shutters. The wire connected the shutter motor to the master controller. It was the master controller for the shutters. The wire connected the power supply to the master controller. It was the power supply. The wire connected the power supply to the aircon. A small switch. That was close. The wire was live. I had redirected the power to the shutter motor. The box was in the perfect position to access the beam above. Vera Security. I was going to have to break in somehow. I wondered if there might be something useful in the drawer. In the drawer was a single Q-tip. It was my lucky day. It hadn't been used. Annette wasn't around. I could finally get into the back office. The room was pitch black. I couldn't see a thing. It was a light switch. In the corner of the room was a pizza delivery scooter, just like the one the killer had escaped on. It was a pizza delivery scooter. The box was empty. Annette had cleared everything out. Just mess and empty boxes. Oil had dripped from the scooter onto the floor. Through the grill, I could see something glinting, but it was too dark to tell what it was. The air vent had a tiny catch on the side. It felt like the perfect opportunity to use Laine's clippers. Sadly, they were designed to cut, not lever. It was the shredder. The letter was partially shredded. There was a letter jammed in the shredder. The shredder just had one button. The shredder was jammed. A small lid protected the mechanism. The gears had seized up. I tried to free the gears, but they were jammed solid. Its service was long overdue. A cotton bud. Very useful for poking into ears. That wouldn't make any sense. I smeared some oil onto the cotton bud. An oily cotton bud. I smeared the gears with oil. It was time to see what was in the letter. The humble paperclip. Would it survive the digital revolution? I grabbed the paperclip. It was the letter from Henri confirming that Vera Security had the contract for the exhibition. And it also revealed who was in charge at Vera. A guy called Medovsky. At first glance, it all seemed pretty run-of-the-mill. But why was Henri thanking Medovsky for being generous? And why was he pleased to represent him? Maybe Medovsky was the owner we'd been looking for. It didn't add up. I had a gut feeling. There was something fishy going on. The letter mentioned a guy called Medovsky as the owner of Vera Security. Mr. Rickenbacker, I've got some new information.
Stobart, what the hell are you phoning me for?
I'm at Vera Security.
You know what time it is? Surely anything you have to tell me can wait until the morning.
I found a shredded letter that seems to implicate Henri and some guy named Medovsky.
Do us both a favor. Get some rest. We can talk about this in the morning.
Nico, you won't believe what I've found.
Oh, Georges, do you know what time it is?
I found a letter to Vera from Henri describing the security and the position of the painting.
Really glad you woke me up for that. Thanks.
No problem. I figured you'd want to know.
Sure, but maybe not in the middle of the night. Come see me in the morning.
A paperclip from the Vera office. The paperclip was perfect for the job. There was definitely something in there. Now, what are you... Gotcha! Well, would you believe it? It was a gun. And very likely the one that had been used to shoot Henri.
Aha! So, what have we here? L'Américain, Monsieur Stobart. You will rue the day you crossed my path, because now you are caught in my net like a little red herring.
Inspector, I'm investigating the robbery.
No, monsieur. You are breaking and entering an innocent storeroom.
I found the murder weapon.
Found? No. Planted? Yes. Moo, arrest this man and take him to the station. I shall squeeze you, Monsieur Stobart, until your pips squeak.
Thanks, Ronnie. I just wish I'd got some better shots of the killer.
Are you kidding? That stuff from the hip, very dramatic. You did good, Nico.
So, what's next?
Get me an interview with the owner, and you've got Sunday's front page.
I'm on it already.
Keep me up to speed. Let me know before you write anything up, okay?
Of course. Oh, gotta go. Someone at the door. Monsieur?
Are you Nicole Collard?
Yes, can I help you?
I need to sit down.
You'd better come in. The old man was out of breath. I couldn't leave without finding out why the old man needed my help. Would you like a glass of wine?
Yes, those stairs are a nightmare. That's better.
So, what can I do for you, monsieur?
My name is Tiago Marquez. I saw your report on the robbery. I found your address. I came straight away. I needed to see you.
And why is that?
The stolen painting, La Malédiction, it belongs to me.
Ronnie had wanted me to interview the owner, and now here he was. Or rather, he was somebody who claimed to be the owner. I had no reason to show Marquez my press card. He already knew who I was. Tell me about yourself.
I am Tiago Marquez, the rightful owner of La Malédiction. What else is there to tell?
So the stolen painting is yours? Tell me more.
La Malédiction belonged to my family in Catalonia in the 30s, before the Civil War.
So what was it doing here in Paris?
The fascists stole it in 1938. They killed my father, but not me. I escaped. I have been looking for it ever since. You have to help me find it.
You traveled all the way from Catalonia?
No, since the war, I've lived in France, in the southwest. And now I want the painting back.
Did you lose all your family in the Civil War?
When they came for us in 38, I fled with my mother. But my father was not so lucky.
I'm sorry.
I would have stayed and fought for freedom, but I was just a boy.
You've got my attention, but if I'm to help you, I need more to go on.
I have something. This old photograph. It is of me and my family. See the painting above the fireplace?
Yes, it's La Malédiction. The photograph suddenly appeared to link the old man to the painting.
You took the photographs at that robbery, huh?
I did, yes.
I need to see them.
Why?
Please, I must see them.
All right. Here they are. This one was rejected. Georges got in the way. Typical.
Who is this George?
Just a friend. He insured the painting.
So, he will know who is this liar who claims to own my painting.
I don't think he does. He would have told me. In front of Georges is Henri, the gallery owner. This is the best shot I took. They used it in the paper.
Yes, it is how I recognize La Malédiction, my painting.
It does look like the one in your photograph.
So close, but now it is lost again.
So you are certain that this is the same painting?
Of course, I do not make mistakes.
Here's the thief making off with the painting.
What is that tattoo on his arm?
Looks like a skull and crossbones. Headhunters,
You will find him, and then you will find my painting.
I can try, monsieur.
You must, mademoiselle.
That tattoo is really quite distinctive.
Yes, but that is all there is to go on.
This shot didn't come out too well.
It's perfect.
Perfect?
Finally, La Malédiction, in all its splendor. The lines, the color, the detail. It's been so long since I've seen it.
Then take it. That shot is no good to me.
Really? Thank you, mademoiselle.
Marquez's story was very interesting, but I needed to corroborate it. I wondered if the gallery kept ownership records. And while I didn't wholly trust him, this was the one lead that I didn't want to lose. Where are you staying?
What? Nowhere. Here, perhaps.
I didn't want him to stay in my apartment. There was another solution. My neighbor is out of town for a few days. You could stay there.
Yes, that would be good. Thank you.
Great, let's go. Adam said that he would leave the spare key under the mat. My neighbor had gone to a coin convention somewhere. His apartment was empty. The door was locked, but my neighbor always left a key under the mat. I hope you don't mind waiting. I'm sure the key is around here somewhere.
This is why I hate cities. No trust anymore.
Marquez wasn't exactly patient. It was just a doormat. My neighbor had left a key for me under the doormat. Which reminded me I hadn't watered his plants for a week. The key wasn't there. Monsieur, I'll have us there in a moment.
I'm an old man. I can't stand here forever.
Georges, is everything okay?
Just about. I found the murder weapon over at Vera Security.
That's brilliant!
Yeah, then Nave walked in and found me holding the weapon.
Let me guess, he arrested you?
You got it. Threw me into a cell. Of course, he couldn't make it stick. I'll come over, update you on what I've got. How about you? What's new?
You won't believe who's just turned up.
Andre Lobino?
No, a Spanish guy called Marquez says he's the owner of the painting.
You're kidding.
Marquez claims the painting was stolen during the Spanish Civil War.
Interesting. If that was true, we wouldn't have to pay out on the insurance claim.
Well, keep your fingers crossed. One of my photographs shows the killer's tattoo.
That's incredible.
It says Headhunters.
I don't like the sound of that.
At least it's not Elvis. D'accord, that's it for now. Maybe you should come over and meet Marquez.
Sounds good. See you soon.
I had nothing else to tell Georges at the moment. Breaking news, Ronnie.
Really?
A Spaniard named Marquez just came round. He claims to be the owner of the stolen painting.
Well, get his story, Nico. What are you waiting for?
The Spaniard claims the painting was stolen from his family during the Spanish Civil War.
This is fantastic. Make sure you get all the facts.
Oh, I will. I also know what tattoo the killer has.
Great work, Nico.
It says Headhunters.
Sounds dangerous. Take care, Nico. I can't wait to see the story.
Bye, Ronnie. There was a large gap between the floorboards. The gap was wide, but not wide enough for my fingers. Using the sticky chewing gum, I was able to fish out the key. The key to Adam's apartment. I've got the key. It had fallen between the floorboards.
At last. Come on then, let's go.
This will do.
Glad it's up to standard. I have to go out, monsieur. Ronnie had promised me the front page if I got an interview with the painting's owner. And here was a crazy Spaniard claiming to be just that. I needed to find out who had put the painting up for sale. Maybe there was more to find at the gallery. Laine was sitting outside the cafe. He looked dazed.
All partings foreshadow the great final one.
The door led back into the gallery. I needed to get inside, but the door was locked. I wasn't going to get anywhere without some help. Henri's office might hold some information on the painting's owner. I needed some help to get inside. The door was locked. The office was my best bet if I wanted to find out who owned that painting. The waiter was still contemplating the universe. Hi.
So it is you, madame. There is no coffee. It bores me now. There is cola, or beer, or champagne.
No thanks, I'll pass.
That is your choice, and you have exercised it.
It was Hector Laine, art critic extraordinaire. Hi.
Changed your mind?
No, but I'll let you know if I do.
Up to you, huh?
Hello, Monsieur Laine.
Ah, the delectable Nicole Collard, super sleuth. How may I be of service?
I was hoping I'd find you here.
Always available for a lovely lady such as yourself.
Did I show you my press card?
The sticky one. Maybe you should order a replacement.
Henri's death. It must be so very hard for you.
Yes. I shall miss him deeply. We had such a very special relationship. The loss is so hard to endure, even for a man of such inner strength as myself.
I'm writing a follow-up piece on the gallery theft.
Ah, so you need an inside view. Authoritative.
Something like that.
The police have finished in the gallery. We could chat in the office. It's much more comfortable. More intimate. I might even be able to rustle up a little bottle of champagne.
Maybe later. I have some things to do first.
Maybe next time, then.
What do you know about the owner of La Malédiction?
That was Henri's business. He found the painting and did the deal with the owner.
Would anybody else know anything about the owner?
Not likely. He kept especially quiet about that one. But he always kept a manifest for every exhibition.
You mentioned a manifest. How would one get a look at that?
One might start in the office. That's where Henri kept most of his paperwork.
About the gallery.
Of course, my dear. We can go there now, if you would like.
That sounds great.
We can discuss my ordeal over a glass of champagne.
A cozy chat with Laine was the last thing I wanted. But it was my best hope, if I wanted to get a look around the office. So, what are we waiting for?
After you, my dear.
The place was heaving with junk. Finding what I wanted wouldn't be easy. As Laine sat down, something stuck out from beneath the cushion. It looked like a folder. Whatever it was, the police had missed it. I needed to get it.
Come, join me on the couch. I'm ready for you. You will be gentle with me, won't you?
Oh, I'm never gentle, Monsieur Laine.
Oh, do call me Hector.
The door led back to the gallery. I couldn't leave, not without finding more information on the painting. I guessed it was Henri's guitar. It had to be for show. Henri had framed some pressed flowers. He had truly terrible taste. It was a decorative pipe. There was nothing in Henri's pile of junk that looked anything like a manifest. There was nothing in the bin. There was nothing special about the clock. It was an old CCTV system. The gallery looked empty. It was a poster for a Stockholm music festival. The headline was a group called the Hairy Lobsters. It was an old phone. The calendar was marked with the date of the exhibition. I'd always dreamed about owning a VW van. With what I earned, I'd never own one of those. Henri's notice board was covered in mementos. The lamp was still on. It looked tacky. The desk was covered in junk. I couldn't have worked in such a place. I couldn't touch the desk while Laine was there. At least Henri had the sense to keep his statue to himself. Henri had a statue of himself in the style of a Roman emperor. It was narcissistic and slightly disturbing.
Make yourself comfortable, ma chérie.
Not to my taste. I could see the street. A wonderfully painted nude. The signature read, Tanya R. The bottles were completely empty. Laine had clearly beaten this sofa into submission. Laine had slumped deep into the sofa. Laine hadn't noticed the folder. With that amount of padding, who would? The only way to get hold of it was to distract him. It was a plain folder. There was a label on the front, but I couldn't quite make it out. If I tried to reach across, I'd touch Laine's leg. Ooh! Laine was taking up more than his fair share of the sofa. Monsieur Laine?
Hector, please.
So you really don't know who owns this up?
I'm sorry, my dear, I really don't.
Is there anything you can tell me about the painting?
It was an absolute treat to come across it. A true undiscovered gem.
There's no denying it is a fantastic painting. What can you tell me about the religious significance?
Of course, there is a deep religious symbolism locked within the painting, too. Central to this must be the pantheon of saints.
I see Henri had a statue of himself.
Yes, for a man of high aspiration, he had alarmingly low taste. Nevertheless, I shall miss him. We were like family.
What will happen to this place now?
Henri's widow will decide, poor soul. She may find it in her heart to keep me around.
Oh, I'm sure she will. Oh, Hector. Perhaps I will join you in that glass of champagne.
But of course, champagne, nature's balm in troubled times.
It was a glass of cheap champagne. Don't you think it's a bit awkward in here, with so much of Henri looming over us?
Just ignore it, my dear.
What can you tell me about the saints depicted in La Malédiction?
As I said, I don't know which denomination the saints represent.
Champagne in a cheap glass. To new friends.
To love. Oh, mon Dieu, that is so cold!
Oops, silly me. I am so sorry.
I'll have to dry this off. Don't you worry, my dear.
I had to find a way to grab it without Laine noticing. In the folder was a list of all the paintings in the exhibition. La Malediccio had to be there. It was. And next to it was the owner's name, Mr. Medovsky. The police had obviously not spotted the folder. I put it back. I had what I needed for my story. Monsieur Laine, thanks for everything. But I think I hear my editor calling.
Ma chérie, no need to leave so soon. It's only a little spillage.
And I found out who claims to own La Malediccio. Some guy named Medovsky. Sounds Russian, right?
Medovsky, my God.
Who is he?
He's new on the oligarch block. Fresh into London from Russia, with ambition and a bloody reputation. Collard, this is way over your head. I'm gonna put a more experienced crime journalist on the story. I can't afford for you to get hurt.
Relax, Ronnie. This is my story. Leave it with me. Let's discuss it over lunch tomorrow.
Okay. But don't do anything more. See you tomorrow.
Ronnie didn't trust me on this story, but I wasn't going to let him give it to someone else. I was going to have to move fast. Come in. Hi, Georges. Great to see you. How did it go over at Vera?
Sorry about the late-night phone call. I just had to tell somebody.
Let's just pretend that didn't happen, Georges.
Pretty good. I found the gun that was used in the robbery.
I'm impressed.